So what would you actually do if um, your entire existence, like your money, your 20-year digital history, your life's work was just erased in a matter of
I
days?
mean, I would panic fully.
Right. And imagine that happening right as you were about to, step into a courtroom
Huh.
to fight for the right to keep your own children.
That is just, it's an unimaginable level of stress.
It really is. Today, we are looking at the anatomy of basically a complete human collapse.
Hmm.
And it's all documented entirely in real time.
Yeah. Through the quiet, encrypted pings of text messages, which is just fascinating.
Exactly. If you are new here, our mission is pretty simple. We take these complex, often really overwhelming raw source materials, and we try to extract the crucial insights.
The patterns, the human elements.
Right. It's all without drowning you in the overload, because it can be a lot.
Oh, absolutely. And today's source material is, well, it's a sprawling, highly detailed WhatsApp chat log.
It really is sprawling. It spans roughly 2 months, I think.
Yeah, from late February to late April of 2026.
And the conversation is between a man named Kanzakir and a relative and confidant named Fatima.
And, what unfolds in these private messages is basically a high-stakes, multi-front war.
Yeah.
We are looking at a bitter divorce, a devastating custody battle over 2 young children, and severe allegations of substance abuse.
Not to mention the incredibly intricate legal maneuverings involving mental health legislation.
Right. And a profound, escalating sense of familial paranoia.
It is intensely heavy. I mean, it really is. And beside of a digital conversation,
Yeah.
we only have Zakir's texts and Fatima's replies.
We do not have the wife's texts.
Right, or the opposing lawyer's internal memos or anything like that.
Precisely. Our objective is to impartially unpack the claims being made in the text, to analyze the legal strategies being discussed, and to really understand the intense human psychology documented in this archive.
Yeah, we are basically observing how a human mind processes a catastrophic crisis as it was literally typed out on a smartphone.
So let's start where the panic actually begins in this text thread.
Okay, set the scene for us.
It's late February, specifically February 26th. And Zakir's first major dispatch to Fatima isn't like a long rant about his estranged wife or his kids.
Which is what you might expect, right?
Exactly. But no, it's about his passwords. He says, and I'm translating his messages here, he says, I lost all my primary accounts. I think I'm getting affected now. My devices are either gone or factory reset.
That is terrifying.
He is suddenly locked out of his Payoneer financial account, too.
Oh, because of two-factor authentication failures, right?
Exactly. And then he mentions the blow that truly initiates the psychological spiral. His email.
Oh, man. Zakirak19@gmail.com.
Yep.
He tells Fatima, this has been my primary account for over 20 years. Over 20 years.
It's basically his entire adult life.
He tells her that if this is gone, he will essentially have to start his life from absolute zero.
And if we step back and look at the architecture of modern digital identity, a 20-year-old email account isn't just a communication tool.
No, not at all.
It is the master key to your existence. It operates on a cascading system of trust.
Right.
Through single sign-on protocols and OAuth integrations, that one email address authenticates your banking, your health records, your professional contacts.
Your software licenses, your cloud storage, everything.
Exactly. When you lose it, you experience a cascading failure of digital identity.
It's like losing your passport, your wallet, and the keys to your house all at the exact same millisecond.
That's a great way to put it.
To use an analogy, it feels like his digital foundation is being actively demolished before the real-world fight even begins.
Yeah.
I mean, if your modern existence is being erased, how does that set the psychological stage for you to understand his state of mind going into a custody battle?
Well, it induces an immediate primal state of hypervulnerability.
Yeah, that makes sense.
In the 21st century, digital disenfranchisement is basically a form of social death. You are suddenly invisible to institutions.
Right.
You can't verify who you are, which means you cannot access the resources you need to defend yourself. And notice his phrasing, too.
What did he say again?
He said, I think I am getting affected now.
Yeah.
This isn't framed as a forgotten password or a server glitch. He perceives this as the opening salvo of a targeted, malicious unraveling.
And the practical consequences are immediate. Like, he's frantically hunting for jobs.
Right.
He actually has to ask Fatima to send him his own CV because he doesn't have access to his own files anymore.
Imagine that.
He talks about his career history in these texts, too. He mentions working at a company called Lexan for 6 years, getting constant promotions.
He was making a very solid income, right?
Yeah, roughly 2.25 lakh a month. He even notes he could easily make 4 lakh if he worked in a corporate office instead of insisting on working from home.
But his entire professional infrastructure is just failing.
Completely. His SIM card gets blocked.
Yeah.
He has to go physically get a duplicate SIM.
Which means the phone number on that CV he's sending out isn't receiving potential callbacks from employers.
Exactly. The mechanism of his survival is actively degrading. And when the systems we rely on fail, humans invariably invent, like ad hoc solutions.
Right, which leads to my absolute favorite detail about how he copes with this.
Oh, the blockchain thing.
Yes. Because he believes his own hardware and cloud accounts are compromised, he starts using Fatisma's WhatsApp chat as a secure vault.
It's brilliant, honestly.
On March 31st, he tells her, "I don't send you these things so you read them all. Just consider this my decentralized storage technique."
He literally jokes that he's treating her phone like a blockchain ledger.
Yeah, he's blasting legal documents, CVs, and notes to her just so a pristine copy survives somewhere off his own network.
That is a fascinating intersection of high-tech concepts with deep primal paranoia.
It really is. The fundamental principle of a blockchain is that the ledger is decentralized, so it cannot be altered by a central malicious authority.
Right.
Zakir is applying that exact cryptography logic to his own life's evidence.
Wow.
He fundamentally believes there is a central malicious authority, whether that's his family or his wife's legal team trying to wipe his ledger clean.
And it seems they successfully hit a major target, at least in his eyes.
All the
Yeah. On April 15th, he reveals he lost his most valuable personal asset. He had written and self-published a psycho-thriller book on Amazon called Resonantia.
And he tells Fatima it was removed from the platform.
He is devastated. He says, "I have lost 2 completely final books I wrote. I am feeling so much sorrow."
But look at why he is sorrowful. It's not just about lost royalties or, wasted effort.
Right? It goes deeper.
He specifically notes to Fatima that this book, Resonantia, was a testament to his mental acuity.
Oh, that's interesting.
He says, no person with mental deficits could write that book.
Oh, wow. So he was using it as proof.
Yes. He saw his published work as a shield. It was tangible, public proof of his competence and sanity.
Yeah.
When that shield is taken down, it isn't just a creative loss. It's the destruction of his primary defense against the allegation that he is mentally unfit.
That makes total sense. And Fatima even validates this fear, right?
As she does. She suggests that whoever is orchestrating this wants to prove he is nothing, and removing his complex intellectual work serves that exact narrative.
Imagine waking up tomorrow morning. You make your coffee, check your phone, and you just realize with this creeping sense of dread that everyone you trust is against you.
Like a literal nightmare.
Right. Your spouse, your siblings, your in-laws, your attorneys, even your doctors.
Yeah.
And they're all coordinating an entirely legal, practically invisible trap. A trap that is specifically engineered to lock you in a psychiatric ward, liquidate all your assets, and just permanently take your children away.
It sounds like a pitch for a psychological thriller, honestly.
I mean, it really does. But is it a movie script? Or is it just the ugly reality of a messy divorce viewed through the, severely distorted lens of extreme stress? Because today, on this deep dive, we are stepping right into the exported WhatsApp chat logs of a man named Khan Zakir.
And this is not some polished memoir written years after the dust settled, right?
Exactly. This is raw data. We are talking timestamps, read receipts, deleted messages. It is a massive, completely chaotic digital footprint spanning from late 2025 into May of 2026.
And that unfiltered nature is, well, it's what makes this source material so compelling and, frankly, so difficult to parse.
Yeah.
We are looking at a real-time feed of a man's life just disintegrating. We have his financial collapse, his legal strategies, and these highly intimate conversations with his estranged wife, his closest friends, and even his freelance client. We need to untangle this web to figure out what is objectively real, what is legally and technically possible, and, where we cross the line into the profound paranoia of a mind operating under siege.
Right. And we also need to pay incredibly close attention to how Zakir communicates, because his analytical skills are really the engine driving this entire narrative.
Yeah, we have to establish a baseline for who Khan Zakir is before this crisis even hits.
Because if you just parachute into the middle of his panic texts in April 2026, you might immediately write him off as completely unhinged.
Oh, for sure. You'd think he's lost it.
But looking at the logs from late 2025, it's obvious you're dealing with a highly sophisticated intellect. I mean, he's an author. He wrote a psychothriller called Resonantia, which deals heavily with memory and trauma.
And he's a tech-savvy professional, too.
Yeah, if you read through his chats with an American client who's developing a platform called tourstap.com, Zakir is holding his own in these deep technical debates.
He's talking about user interfaces, complex sitemaps, AI, content optimization.
Right. And if that wasn't enough, he's actively trading cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
You're looking at a guy whose brain is wired to constantly recognize patterns, anticipate trends, and construct intricate narratives.
His linguistic baseline is just as crucial as his technical one, I think.
How do you mean?
Well, if you analyze the syntax and vocabulary across his different chat windows, you see an extreme level of cognitive flexibility. He code switches effortlessly.
Oh yeah, the contrast is wild.
Right. Take the exchanges with his American client at Tourstap. The client expresses some vulnerability about his own arrogance, and Zakir responds with this highly measured philosophical advice.
I remember the part.
He tells the client to, quote, separate your I from your my, unquote.
Wow.
Yeah, he's talking about detaching the ego from material possessions and professional output. It's profound. It shows a capacity for deep, empathetic, and abstract thought.
But then, you look at his messages with his local friends. Guys he has saved in his phone as Faizan, or a contact named Co.Gold.
Yeah, it's a totally different person.
The philosophical tone just completely vanishes. He drops into local street slang, dark humor, and these sharp, almost brutal metaphors.
Can you give an example?
Yeah, in one exchange, anticipating how his family is going to strip his assets, he calls himself the pumpkin that will be cut and distributed.
Oh, man. That is dark.
It is. He's assessing the social dynamic, realizing he's viewed as a resource to be carved up, and he's communicating that to his friends in the most cynical, culturally resonant way possible.
Which demonstrates a hyper-adaptability. He is constantly reading the room, even a digital one, and modulating his frequency to match it.
Right.
But that same hyper-adaptability is a double-edged sword. I mean, a mind trained to write psychothrillers is a mind trained to find hidden motives.
Exactly.
And a mind that day trades crypto is trained to look for invisible market manipulations. So when you take a brain wired for high-level pattern recognition and drop it into a severe emotional trauma, it will inevitably start searching for the hidden architecture of that trauma.
Because it just won't accept that bad things are happening randomly.
Exactly. And we see that architectural search begin in December 2025.
So let's pin down the chronological start of the fracture.
Right.
Based on the drafted legal replies that Keir sends to his friends for review, the inciting incident happens on December 17th, 2025.
That's the day his wife leaves.
Yeah, his wife, Sindhu, who, by the way, he still has saved in his phone under the name So Beautiful She Leaves Their House.
The textual evidence from the immediate aftermath, particularly the logs leading into March 2026, show a man in just acute, devastating grief.
It's hard to read, honestly.
It really is. He is pleading with Sindhu to come back, almost exclusively centering his arguments around their two young children, Zainab and Zar. The language isn't just sad, it's catastrophic.
Yeah.
He texts her, "These flowers will never bloom," meaning their kids will be irreparably stunted by a broken home. He tells her plainly, "I will die without them."
I read those texts, and they are brutal. It's the rawest form of human vulnerability. But what caught me completely off guard is that in the exact same chat thread, sandwiched between these desperate weeping pleas, his threat assessment software is already booting up.
It's wild. He's multitasking his own grief.
Right. He tells her, "I know this custody is a trap. What is going to happen to me is written on the wall."
He is already looking past the emotional devastation and bracing for a structural attack.
Which forces you to ask, is he projecting his own paranoia onto the situation? Or does he genuinely understand the mechanics of the people he's dealing with better than we do?
Well, the timeline suggests the latter. Between March 19th and March 31st, 2026, Sindhu escalates.
What does she do?
She officially files a petition for khula. That's an Islamic divorce initiated by the wife. And she files for full custody of Zainab and Zara.
And the second those legal documents are filed, the tone of Zakir's entire WhatsApp export just shifts.
The emotional bleeding stops.
Completely. He immediately pivots from a heartbroken husband into a forensic analyst. He gets a copy of her petition, and he starts dissecting her word choices.
And he flags a massive anomaly for his friends.
Right. In her initial filing, she doesn't use the word crazy. She doesn't claim he's mentally unstable.
Now, to a layperson, that might seem like a minor detail or just standard legal boilerplate.
Yeah, you just overlook it.
But to Zakir, it is a critical piece of intelligence. He knows his family has been whispering about his mental state, but his wife didn't put it in her sworn petition.
Which means what to him?
He deduces that if she didn't officially claim he was unstable, then the sudden severe social isolation he's experiencing from his own family isn't just people awkwardly taking sides in a divorce.
He labels it social engineering.
Exactly. He begins to believe his family is actively constructing a narrative of his instability behind his back, completely separate from his wife's initial legal strategy.
So this is where the paper war really becomes a ground war. And the first casualty is his wallet.
The financial squeeze.
Yeah. If we're tracking the physical realities of this timeline, April is where Zakir experiences a complete, sudden financial chokehold. His primary income stream, his Payoneer accounts for freelance work, gets locked.
Oh, wow.
His mobile service gets suspended for non-payment. He is reduced to messaging co.gold to ask how he can cash out $4 worth of TRX cryptocurrency.
$4.
$4 just to buy basic supplies. He has to message Faizan, who seems to work in web development, asking for a 5,000 Pakistani rupee loan, which is a really tiny amount of money, just to survive the week.
But look at how he interprets this poverty.
Right.
If you or I suddenly lost our accounts and our spouse left us, we might just think, well, when it rains, it pours. My life is falling apart.
Yeah, bad luck.
But Zakir refuses that narrative. He texts his friends that his sudden destitution is an operational protocol.
Wait, I need to stop you there. Are you saying he thinks his family somehow hacked his Payoneer account and shut off his phone? Because that sounds like a massive leap.
Not hack, but orchestrated. He believes that his extended family, possibly guided by a local doctor who runs a welfare trust, has issued a systematic directive to his entire social and professional circle.
Like a boycott.
Basically, he believes they have been told, do not give Zakir money, do not give him work. He calls this tactic weaponized concern.
Weaponized concern. That is a phrase.
The psychological mechanism here is brilliant and terrifying. Zakir theorizes that his family is framing their blockade as an act of love.
Oh, I see.
They are telling people, Zakir is unwell. If you give him money, you are enabling him. You have to let him hit rock bottom so he gets help.
Wow. By dressing up financial starvation as medical concern, they successfully cut off his supply lines without looking like the villains.
Exactly. Zakir texts Faizan about his family, saying, they realize that giving me food would be cruel because it would prolong my resistance.
That is incredibly dark.
It really is.
And it's not just his bank accounts that dry up. It's his actual identity. This is the detail in the logs that gave me actual chills.
The book.
Yes, remember his book, Resonantia? He goes to check it, and it has been entirely scrubbed from Amazon.
Just gone.
Not just out of stock, but the listing is gone. Furthermore, he notices that a digital business card he used for his freelance writing business, Aspire Literary Artisan, has systematically disappeared from his past WhatsApp chat histories. He messages Faizan in a clear panic, typing, I have been erased from history.
As an analyst, I have to look at the functional utility of that erasure. Zakir deduces that deleting his published work is a strategic disarmament by his opponents.
How so?
Well, if you are preparing to drag a man into court and declare him a raving, incompetent lunatic so you can seize his assets, the absolute last thing you want on the record is a highly structured, philosophically complex, published novel with his name on it.
I hear that, but let's apply Occam's razor for a second.
Sure.
If you cancel your web hosting or stop paying your Amazon seller fees because you're broke, your listings disappear.
Sure.
And if you clear your phone cache because it's out of storage, old images like business cards vanish. Isn't it highly probable that he is just experiencing the digital consequences of being broke and his psycho-thriller writer brain is turning a server purge into an assassination plot?
It is entirely possible, but you have to understand the mechanism of hypervigilance. To Zakir, coincidence no longer exists.
Everything is a clue.
Every dropped call, every deleted file, every unread text is a data point proving the conspiracy. And whether the erasure of his book was an Amazon server glitch or a malicious takedown by his family, the effect on Zakir is identical.
He feels stripped of his armor.
Exactly. And it is this exact state of profound vulnerability, broke, isolated, and feeling erased that leads him directly into the most horrifying sequence in these entire chat logs.
The Lidequant National Hospital incident.
Yes.
Late April. This is where the story shifts from a messy divorce into something deeply sinister. Let's trace the physical movements here.
Walk us through it.
Zakir's sisters and his brothers-in-law show up. They tell him he looks terrible, his blood pressure is clearly through the roof, and they are taking him to the hospital for a checkup.
Which seems reasonable on the surface.
Right. They drive him to Liaquat National Hospital. But they don't walk into cardiology. They sit him down in a psychiatric ward.
And the psychiatrist, after what appears to be a really brief consultation, prescribes Zakir a heavy cocktail of medications.
An antipsychotic, an anti-anxiety drug, and strong sleeping pills.
Now, if you are listening to this, you might be thinking, okay, the guy is clearly not sleeping. He's ranting about his book being erased. He's severely stressed. His family got him a Xanax. That's what families do.
Yeah, that's the normal read on the situation.
But Zakir doesn't see a prescription pad. He sees a loaded gun.
Oh, wow.
He takes one look at those 3 medications, walks out, and immediately throws them in the trash.
Why?
Because he realizes he has just been pushed into what he calls the double bind.
The double bind. This is perhaps the greatest display of his analytical capacity under fire. Zakir cross-references this hospital visit with the legal paperwork from Sindhu's khula petition.
Right.
He notices a detail he previously flagged. She has now introduced a claim that he suffers from substance abuse.
And Zakir connects the psychiatrist's prescription to the family court petition and decodes the trap.
It's not a rigged chessboard.
Yeah.
It's a Chinese finger trap. The harder he pulls to prove he's sane, the tighter the legal snare gets. Let's walk through the exact mechanics of this trap because it is diabolical.
Okay, let's break it down. Option A. Zakir takes the prescribed psychiatric medication.
Yeah.
He knows that in a highly contested custody battle, opposing counsel can request a random drug screening to validate their claim of substance abuse.
So they test him.
Right. Zakir is terrified that these heavy synthetic psychiatric drugs will trigger a false positive on a broad-spectrum drug panel. He specifically texts a fear that it might flag as LSD or a similar synthetic narcotic.
And if he pisses hot on a court-ordered drug test, it's game over.
Exactly.
Sindhu's claim of substance abuse is medically validated by a lab. The judge gavels down, and he loses custody of Zainab and Zarar forever. So taking the pills is suicide. But what is option B?
Option B is he refuses the medication, which is what he does.
Right.
But Zakir realizes that throwing away the pills triggers an even darker legal mechanism. He starts researching the local statutes, and he pulls up the Sin Mental Health Act of 2013.
He's researching law while all this is happening.
He is, and what he finds in the text of that law validates his deepest fears.
We actually need to look at how this law operates because it's the fulcrum of his entire panic. What exactly do Sections 10, 11, and 12 of this act allow a family to do?
Well, the Sin Mental Health Act is designed to handle psychiatric emergencies. Section 10 allows for an admission for assessment.
Okay.
It states that an application can be made by a relative, supported by the written recommendations of 2 medical officers, one of whom must be a psychiatrist.
Which he just saw.
Exactly. If a patient is deemed to be suffering from a mental disorder of a nature that warrants detention in a psychiatric facility in the interest of their own health or the protection of others, they can be involuntarily committed for up to 28 days.
28 days, unwillingly.
Yes. And Section 11 allows for an even longer involuntary admission for treatment, up to 6 months, again, initiated by a relative and doctors.
So, by refusing the medication his sisters and the doctor told him to take, he has officially made himself medically non-compliant. His family can now legally go to the authorities and say, we tried to help him, the doctor prescribed him medicine, but he is erratic, non-compliant, and a danger to himself.
And boom.
The authorities can legally drag him out of his house and lock him in a psychiatric ward for a month without his consent.
And while he is locked in that ward for 28 days, Section 12 allows for further assessment and legal maneuvering. If he is declared legally incompetent, a guardian can be appointed over his estate.
My God.
Zakir realizes that if they successfully institutionalize him, his family can legally liquidate his assets, his share of his mother's property, whatever crypto he has left, within 90 days.
That is the double bind.
Yeah.
Take the pills, lose your kids to a failed drug test, refuse the pills, get locked in a psych ward for being non-compliant, and lose your assets.
He is trapped in a maze where every exit leads to a cliff.
And he knows it. He literally quotes the law to his friends. He cites Section 52, subsection 1 of the Act, which is the penalty for false or malicious applications for admission.
He realizes that threatening his family with a year in prison for a fraudulent commitment is his only leverage.
You just have to marvel at the cognitive endurance required to do this.
Ah.
I mean, he is starving, he is grieving his children, he's terrified of being chemically restrained, and yet he is independently auditing provincial mental health legislation to find jurisdictional loopholes.
It's incredible, but, this immense cognitive load has a breaking point.
It has to.
As we push into late April and early May, Zakir has undeniably identified a genuine legal vulnerability. The Sin Mental Health Act could be used against him, that is a fact.
Yeah.
But this is the pivot point where the deep dive gets murky. The scope of the conspiracy starts to infect everything he sees. We have to separate the signal from the noise.
Right. Where does valid threat assessment end and pure unrestrained paranoia begin?
Let's lay the concrete foundation first. What is definitively real?
Okay.
It is real that he is facing a hostile khula and a custody battle. It is real that his financial infrastructure has been dismantled.
We have logs confirming that.
Yeah. We also have logs confirming that his son, Czar, contracted a severe case of chickenpox right around a crucial court date, causing Zakir massive distress and forcing him to miss the hearing.
And it is a real, documented legal reality that the mental health statutes in his jurisdiction can be weaponized by family members.
Okay. He is analyzing the darkest limits of his own imagination, projecting it onto his family and treating it as fact.
So he is a man trapped in a prison where he is simultaneously the inmate, the warden, and the architect.
That's a great way to put it.
He is outgunned, outfinanced, facing institutionalization, and he can't even trust the water. How does a man in that position fight back?
Because he doesn't just give up.
No. Part 5 of this deep dive is Zakir's counteroffensive, and his ultimate move is a massive, incredibly risky legal maneuver.
To understand his counteroffensive, we have to look at the jurisdictional mechanics of his divorce.
Right.
Sindhu has been pursuing a khula. A khula requires the intervention of a family court judge. Sindhu has submitted a petition filled with claims about Zakir's behavior, the substance abuse, the alleged instability.
Okay.
The court has to review these claims to grant the separation. Zakir realizes that if he fights the khula and loses, the court's decree implicitly validates her claims against him,
A judge ruling in her favor is a judge saying, yes, this man is unfit.
which would give his sisters all the ammunition they need to execute the psychiatric hold and seize his assets.
He realizes he cannot win a defensive war in a court he believes is corrupted by his own lawyers. So he bypasses the court entirely.
He does.
He issues a legal divorce himself. Unilateral talaq.
Exactly. Under Islamic jurisprudence as applied in Pakistani family law, a husband possesses the right to issue a talaq, a divorce, without requiring a judge to litigate the reasons for it.
It is a unilateral action.
By issuing the talaq, Zakir fundamentally alters the jurisdictional landscape. He removes the court's power to grant a khula because the marriage is already being dissolved by his own hand.
He flips the board. He texts his friends, I have not lost. I am outnumbered.
Issuing the talaq isn't a surrender, it's a tactical retreat.
Right. He is burning the bridge so the enemy can't cross it. He tells his sister Fatima that he is issuing the divorce to clear up any misunderstanding.
He knows that by taking the action himself, there is no trial on his character. There is no judge validating the substance abuse claims.
He essentially neutralizes the primary weapon they were going to use to institutionalize him.
It is a stunning display of strategic thinking under immense duress, and it highlights his profound linguistic and psychological resilience.
Because the physical toll on him is evident in the logs.
Oh, absolutely. He tells Faizan his chest is tight, his heart feels like it's going to stop, his blood pressure is in the danger zone.
He is experiencing the physical symptoms of severe, prolonged trauma.
Yet his cognitive processing never degrades into incoherence.
Not at all. In fact, he leverages his tech skills to build his own defense counsel. Because he believes Kamal and Aftab are compromised, he turns to artificial intelligence.
He starts using ChatGPT to audit his own legal strategies.
And he's not just typing, how do I win a divorce? He is taking the specific dates of his case, the procedural actions or inactions of his lawyers, the text of the local statutes, feeding all of that into the AI and asking it to spot deviations from standard civil procedure.
He is using a language model to verify if his paranoia about his lawyers is legally grounded.
He also establishes a rigorous protocol for documentation, recognizing that his physical environment is entirely compromised.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be dragged out of his house to Liaquat Hospital at any moment. He methodically compiles his evidence.
He creates secure digital caches and instructs Fatma on how to keep his files safe.
He is building a black box for his life, ensuring that if he is erased, the data survives.
And amidst all of this, the divorce, the starvation, the threat of the psych ward, the neurotoxin theories, he is still analyzing the world.
Oh, right, the crypto trading.
There is a deeply surreal moment in the May logs where he is messaging code.gold. Zakir is terrified for his life, yet he is giving his friend macroeconomic crypto trading advice.
It's bizarre.
He analyzes the escalating geopolitical tensions in the Middle East between America, Israel, and Iran, and accurately predicts a spike in the price of gold, advising his friend on how to position his assets.
Which proves that the analytical engine never shut down. It just adapted to the threat level.
Whether he was predicting the movement of global commodities or predicting the legal maneuvers of his estranged wife, the mechanism was the exact same. Absorb the data, identify the pattern, predict the outcome.
It leaves you breathless. We've tracked Khan Zakir's digital ghost from the heartbreak of December 2025 to the absolute barricaded paranoia of May 2026.
Yeah.
We've watched a man fight a multi-front war for his mind, his children, and his physical freedom using nothing but his intellect and a smartphone.